Steve Jarboe. Join us.
Chantal like tall, so we can all say it right. I've been corrected very, very politely. Thanks for being here, everybody. This is a fun time for me because I'm going to talk about the thing I love, which Chantal just mentioned, which is full scope resilience, the idea of being able to deal with any bad thing that might happen and make it not so bad, mitigate it. And that's what I've spent the last 10 years of my life working on. But I figured today we'll start with a little game, since the objective for me today was to kind of warm everybody up. So this is the game.
Greetings, professional friends. Shall we play a game?
Who knows the reference? Yell it out. War Games, the iconic 1980s movie with Matthew Broderick, Alex Sheedy. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. Because it'll make sure for you and for your kids that you show it to that they will be, for their long lives, advocates against the worst bad thing that could happen. We all know what I mean. And actually, one of the board members here, I believe, John, you're from MacArthur. And MacArthur Foundation recently produced, in conjunction with Princeton, a very unique virtual reality experience that chronicled the experience of the people in Hawaii. Who remembers Hawaii's situation with the emergency management alert that said ballistic missile inbound, seek immediate shelter? This is not a drill. And for 38 minutes, those folks in Hawaii were left to think that that was a real thing. This was about 2 years ago, until the next text message was sent by the emergency management agency saying, "Whoopsie, this is," it said false alarm. And that 38 minutes is described in really chilling detail in a virtual reality experience by this collaboration between Princeton and MacArthur Foundation, which is a beautiful thing. It's actually kind of like the modern day version of this movie. Because people need to feel this so that they can take the actions. This is what I've thought for years. In fact, I've been working on this since that movie was a formative movie in my youth. I've never really let it go. I've always thought about it. And to that end, I really like the idea of simulations also. And so I thought I'd engage you all in a little bit of simulation today, but first, one other guessing game, and whoever guesses this can win it. Anybody happen to know what this is? Another blast from the past? We'll give you a clue. Anybody? Here's the clue. The lights went out, that was unexpected. But we'll navigate it. The clapper, my friend over here, that's correct, the clapper. The lights going out is the clue, because it's the clapper. So, the lights going out is also symbolic of what I'm interested in avoiding, and all of us are. Now we have another unexpected matter. This is also expected, just so nobody freaks out again. Just a little bit of stress, but not too much. All right, we can bring the lights back up. Thank you, my friends, that did the AV stuff there. The point is, we want to keep the grid from going down and the lights from going out. And that's exactly what Accenture is my employer for 20 years. I've been doing this cyber work for 20 years. But about 10 years ago, me and somebody that invented an algorithm that's an AI, and the doctor and the team are going to speak about AI, and it's going to be really cool. Just talking to her, I'm excited to hear more. Artificial intelligence. It's the ability to know things that we as humans can't do, and what this algorithm does, it goes out and scans the deep, dark web and finds things that places we wouldn't go and things we wouldn't know from open source intel. And we, Accenture, coupled with an ecosystem of partners through this little nonprofit called Community Resilience Cooperative, which is up there. You can go to the website. It's a 501c3, and the purpose of that organization, teaming with Accenture and some other very big, very powerful organizations, is to, quote, this is from the 501c3 statement of purpose, to, quote, increase the resiliency of communities and organizations against natural and man-made disasters, including cyber attacks, period. That's the first sentence of the second sentence says, and to assist those experiencing homelessness. That's just a personal matter. I did this nonprofit. Accenture gave me permission and really supported me in doing that. A lot of you probably might know Marty Rogers, one of the big Accenture folks, and for years and years, I told him about this years ago. You know, Marty's a great man, and I told him about it years ago, and he said, do it. He didn't tell me how, and so it ended up being form a nonprofit, team with Accenture, team with other organizations, colleges, it's all on the website, big groups that have satellites. I need satellite data, because we're looking at anything that could go wrong. Again, that's all on the website. There's a whole talk from a conference last week where we rolled it out for the first time. Some of the board members were there, Sam and Chad. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Chantal in just 1 minute, but I do opportunity for you guys and anybody who's in a larger organization in this room to understand the type of thing we do. What we do is a simulation. Remember I said simulations are fun? I enjoy them, so simulate the lights out. What we do is we gather up the executive crew from organizations that are critical infrastructure providers, primarily, say, power companies, healthcare providers, hospitals, water companies, and bring them together at an off-site location for 2 days and 2 nights, where Marty, for example, will go and be with them. And I'm talking about like the chief information security officer, the chief ops officer, the CIO, some of your types of roles, the chief public relations officer, the people who would be in the war room if a serious situation went down. Bring them together, and for 2 days do a deeply immersive simulation, like a choose-your-own-adventure war game, for what it would be like for that organization if they were on the front lines of what I call World War C. We call this thing World War C simulator, or D-Day simulator. And the idea is to do it for different critical infrastructure organizations. Each of them do their own thing right now. Each of them does their own tabletop exercise type activities. But what we want to do is for the power company in Florida and North Carolina and up where I live near DC, because the grid is connected, as I think we all know, and these things can't be looked at in isolation. The AI helps us to understand the interplay, how one decision from one can affect the other, so we keep the lights on, and we keep a cyber exchange with a major nation state aggressor from escalating into the worst kind of thing. That's what this is about. I encourage you to check it out. Thank you all so very much. Have a great conference.
Thank you, Steve. That was great. And thank you to Accenture for sponsoring our keynote with Dr. Howard this year.